We've heard anecdotal stories of people who are frustrated with the website. They can't get through on the phone call, and they're just wondering, is this system leaving me out of the mix because I'm older and I don't have the resources to log on or to sit on the phone all day?
Yeah, we certainly have heard that as well. Like I said, I don't know what your experience is, but my experience is that I hear somebody say what you just said, and then I turn around and somebody else says, "Well, I went on, logged on, and got an appointment for tomorrow." And other people are saying, "I've been in this technological queue thing," and I think, unfortunately, the response that I've heard when I've raised that issue with other officials is that people just need to keep trying.
How are you reaching out to the community to help them make this a little easier?
I mean, we have put a lot of energy into beefing up our website and are offering a number of our healthy living classes and programs virtually as well. But at the same time, we're aware that there is a significant digital divide in this community. Of course, I think when most people hear about the digital divide, they think about school children and homeschooling, but we have the same experience with older adults. And that whole issue of people not being very technologically fluent, if you will, people not having good broadband accessibility, and people not actually having the technology itself.
Overall, how would you rate the state's communication with the senior population here in Pima County, for example, when it comes to COVID-19 distribution?
Well, I'm not sure about the state's communication. I think the county is working very hard, as are we, to try to communicate as effectively as we can. I certainly know I've been doing a lot of interviews and have been talking with press, and I've certainly seen both Teresa Cullen, the Pima County Health Department Director, and Dr. Francisco Garcia, Pima County's Chief Medical Officer, in front of the camera a lot. I'm in meetings with them on a weekly basis, sometimes a couple of times a week, through the ethics committee and other initiatives. So there are a lot of there's a lot of those kind of conversations going on.
There may be older adults who are watching this interview and say, that has not been my experience. I don't quite have access to the resources that you're describing. What would be your message to them?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. They can call our helpline at 790-7262 for general information about resources in the community related to all things older adults, for those who are caring for older adults. And then the other resource is the county's helpline, which they've set up, which is 222-0119. That's 520-222-0119. We are certainly, and the county, and I think the state are attempting to create what I would call institutional supports for people. But the reality is, the situation we are in, there are 93,000 people 75 years of age who live in Pima County. There's another 120,000 people between the ages of 65 and 74. That's like 213,000 people in that older adult grouping, all of whom are identified as being at risk. We can't stand up, how do I say this, institutional supports for all of those people. And so we need to rely on friends and family and neighbors. And so I've been saying this really since March. People need to be neighborly. And so, how can you reach out? And maybe it's the person across the street, or somebody in your faith community that you might be able to assist in registering, for instance, for a vaccination program, or maybe you're in a position where you might be able to drive somebody to an appointment.
I would imagine you're hearing from people who say, I can't leave my house or I can't log on to the website, but I need the vaccine per what we're reading with the CDC guidelines and recommendations. But it essentially leaves them in some sort of limbo because they don't have the right options available to them.
Well, the counties definitely is in a position to help people register. So with that county number, the 2221 or 0119 phone number, those operators are in the position to help people register. So that's an option for people who have no technology. I also understand this, excuse me, I also understand the state has the state's 211 helpline is also helping people with registration.
Mark Clark from Pima Council on Aging. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.